Okay, let's take a couple of examples and um, basically like kind of walk through them together with the class. So I'll go with John. I'll go with your quote, and Jin. I'll go with yours as well. Let's just take a look at these two here. So I'm going to put them on this page. Okay. So, John, you're saying that I think the quote means that when you struggle with something, there's something to gain. For example, when you fall down, you can be hurt, but that allows you to think about where you're stepping. Okay, this is good. Let's see here. I'm going to see which areas we can edit. Okay, so I want everyone to kind of like look at where we can take this paragraph or this short paragraph into like the next level, how we can make ideas flow and how we can really construct those ideas together to make it very like easy to understand by someone new that would read it. So let's take a look here. Oops. So I think the quote means that when you struggle with something, there's something to gain. You can say You can take out to gain and replace it with something that can be gained. For example, and here you'd want to put a comma. For example, when you fall down, you can be hurt, but that allows you to think about where, and then not this your, but the other your. So this one, where you're stepping. For example, when you fall down, you can be hurt, but that allows you to think about where you're stepping. And they can maybe say, at the end, just to kind of like build on that last sentence, we can say something like, "This is so that next time I won't fall down." Right? So that's one way that we can approach this. Let's take a look at another example. So let's see Jin's example. Okay, and if anybody has any questions at all, you can always just ask me anytime, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay. So Jen, you're saying, I think the quote means that you can learn from your mistakes when you struggle and when you face an obstacle. Meeting an obstacle or struggling is not bad. It helps you learn. Okay. It's good. It's good, good ideas. So let's see here. I think the quote means that you can learn from your mistakes when you struggle and when you face an obstacle. Meeting an obstacle or struggling is not bad. And you could add the word because here, right? Because you're giving a reason. So you can say because it helps you. And then when you talk about learn, you could say learn. What do you want to learn? Learn, um, because it teaches you, it helps you learn things to avoid next time, right? So taking what we have and adding a few things so that we expand our ideas to our audience, whoever reads these paragraphs. So meeting an obstacle or struggling is not bad because it helps you learn things to avoid next time. Because that's what the obstacle is, right? Let's say you face an obstacle, you want to know how you can avoid next time. Yes, Serena, I think you raised your hand.
I thought you were supposed to edit everybody's.
Yeah, I mean, I can edit as many as possible. It's just like given the time, that we have. We want to get through a lot of other material too. So I can come back to others if there's extra time remaining. No problem. Okay,
I thought you were supposed to.
sure. Yeah, no problem. I mean, when I'm just gonna get through a few things, and then when we have time, we can do that. No problem. Okay, so this here is good. So meeting an obstacle or struggling is not bad because it helps you learn things to avoid next time. Okay. Now, everyone did last week's homework, right? And you posted in the forum. You guys can give me a thumbs up if you did. Do you guys have any questions about this at all? Like the homework was talking about like life is what you make of it. So basically talking about like what that quote means to you. What is it like? What are some stories or examples you can give about it? So if everybody did good on that, you can give me a thumbs up. And yeah, thanks, Evane. Thanks, Serena. Everything okay, Donnie? Was it a bit difficult for you? If you're speaking, I think you're on mute.
No.
If the assignment was okay for you?
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So let's take a look here. This is basically a quote that is from Leonardo da Vinci. So he's a very famous individual. This is a quote he has here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get someone to read this for me, and then I will write my interpretation of this, and then we'll take a look at how I kind of wrote that interpretation of this quote, and we can kind of structure um, our interpretations, our paragraphs based on something like that. So how the ideas flow from one to the next. So for this one, if I can get Brady to read the quote, please.
I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but when whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct will pursue their principles until.
Okay, thanks a lot, Brady. That was good. So let's take a look at what, a quote like this actually means and how we can kind of talk about like what is the summary of it, what it means to us. So he's saying, I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection. It's the business of little minds to shrink, but they whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct. So I can say here, this quote means to me, or I can actually say instead of this quote, I can start off by saying Da Vinci's quote, right? That's the person who said this. So Da Vinci's quote means to me, or Da Vinci's quote describes the importance of strength and perseverance. Oops, yep, and perseverance. Now that's the main idea. Let's talk about how that's being shown here. So people can smile in trouble. He mentions that people should still remain in good spirits, meaning remain happy despite challenges they may face, right? That's about all the of perseverance. Doing this will make people stronger. and more resilient. And resilient just means being able to like fight through challenges, continue to stay strong. Despite those challenges that you face, you always continue to be brave and be strong. You'll be able to go through those challenges. That's what resilient means. So you see how here in this paragraph, you start off by saying what the quote is about. So as it describes the importance of strength and perseverance, then I give an example of that in the actual quote. So as I say, like he mentions that people should still remain in good spirits despite challenges they may face, right? Because that was mentioned here. Those who can smile in trouble, who can, and what's the value of that is doing this will make people stronger and more resilient. This is a very short kind of explanation. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like the main idea to me, what that quote is. Okay. Moving on to the next topic will be about morphology. This is basically a convention of language. It's basically an idea or topic within language. So morphology is a word. I'm not sure if any of you have heard this word before, but basically it's studying the structure of words and how to like words together give it particular meaning. So let's take a look here. So we have the first kind of morphology. It's called inflectional morphology. It's modifying words to fit different grammatical contexts. So you have a given word, and okay, you have a given word, and you want to change it up a little bit so that it can fit a different grammatical context. What's a context? Is like a kind of situation, different examples of something. That's like a context. And the other one is derivational morphology, creating new words completely by changing the meaning of existing words. So I'm going to give an example of both of them to all of you. And then what I would like is for all of you to write a single sentence for each one. So two sentences, one for inflectional morphology, one for derivational morphology. But first, before we get to that, I will give you all an example of what inflectional morphology is. So has anybody heard of morphology at all? Does anybody know what that word means? Have you heard of it? It's not just used in English; it's also used in science and things like that. So let's take a look at some examples. So let's see here. So let's say like you have a base word, or I'll rather I'll put a root word, like the root word skip. When we apply inflectional morphology to it, what are we doing? We're modifying words to fit different grammatical contexts. So using inflectional morphology, how can we change the word skip? We can say skipping or skipped, right? Past tense, present tense, verb. That's different grammatical context. This is a verb, right? You're skipping. Skipped is past tense. So that's an example of inflectional morphology. And what was the other one? It was derivational morphology. Okay. And does everybody understand like the first one? So now we're going to look at how we can create new words by changing the meaning of existing words. Okay. So if I'm not sure if any of you have heard this word called linguistics, but it's a study of language. Okay. And in language, you have different kind of like grammatical context, different ways that you can change up the way things are said and things are spoken. So if you look at derivational morphology, what we can see here is if you have something like let's say your root word is hope. Adding derivational morphology would be hopeful. Okay? It's basically changing the meaning of the word to fit a different grammatical context. That's what derivational. So basically, creating a new word by changing the meaning of existing words. So we're creating a new word, hopeful, by changing the meaning of the existing word hope. Okay? Let's see. I'll give you another example. Root word is, let me think of one. So root word would be care, and then adding derivational morphology would be careful. Okay. Okay. Given this, what I'd like for all of you to do is come up with 2 examples in total, and 2 sentences. One sentence for inflectional morphology and one sentence for derivational morphology. And give me the root word and the inflectional morphology word, and give me the root word and the derivational morphology word. Okay. So I'll leave these 2 examples up here on the screen. Let's take about 5 to 7 minutes. If you need more time, that's fine. We can take up to 10 minutes to do this. But basically, come up with a sentence, use it in a proper context, but just try to use both inflectional morphology and derivational morphology, have the root words for both, and we'll take from there. I'll see you all in about 7, 8 minutes, and we'll take it up together. We'll go over everybody's example for this. Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at everybody's examples. So inflectional. Okay. So Serena, you said graceful Selena skated around the ice rink. Okay, so what is the root word, Serena?
Skate.
Skate, yes. So I'm just gonna say here root word skate. So we know like which word we are modifying so it can fit the different grammatical context in this case. Because when we say skate, that can mean multiple things, right? It can mean somebody can skate to school, can skate, even skateboarding, it can mean different things. But when we say that Selena skated around the ice rink, what we're doing is we're modifying that word from skate to skated. We're modifying that word to fit a different grammatical context, a different situation, a different example. So that's what we're doing here. So that's good. All right. Wesley, you said he's playing with his toy. What kind of morphology is this one, Wesley? Was it this one or this one?
The first one.
Yes. So he's playing with his toy. So the root word is which one, Wesley?
Play.
Play. Just play like that. Yep. All right. So Yvain, okay. You said the root word is skip. Okay. Root word is skip, and then the example was Liliana is skipping, so I'm just gonna put an extra P here for the spelling. And then you said sunny, right? So that's how you spell sunny. So root just give me a sec here. I'm just gonna put this in. Yeah, so the root word is skip, and then the example you gave is Liliana is skipping on the road, not in a sunny day, but on a sunny day, right? Take the in out like that. There you go. Okay. Okay, let's see. So Brady, you for inflectional, you said she was singing and the root word was sing. Okay, that's correct. So it's an inflectional example. So she was singing and the root word is sing. So that's very good. Okay, and then let's go to the next example now. So this is the derivational morphology. So for this one, we can start with you, Brady. So you said this right here is your example. So your example was derivational morphology. Kindness is what my mom does. The root word is kind. So what we're doing here is we're creating new words by changing the meaning of existing words. So let's see what the root word was. The root word was, give me one sec, kind. And derivational will be kindness. So that's correct. That's good. Okay. Does everybody understand? You guys did a good job. So that's really good. It seems like you understand the concept very well. So one more thing to keep in mind with this is when you see the word morphology, what does that mean? It means just how the structure of words represents that word and how together these words can give meaning to sentences. Changing even small things of a word can influence the sentence that comes out of that word. So we looked at inflectional morphology. How do you change up words to fit different grammatical contexts? We looked at derivational morphology, creating new words by changing the meaning of existing words. One example of inflectional morphology, we have the word skip as the root word. Inflectional morphology means we can modify that word by making it something like skipping or skipped, right? And that changes the context of it, right? So we're fitting in different grammatical contexts because we're adding in the ing. That's like a basically present tense, right? Because you're skipping right now, and skipped means that this. So Sam, you can say Sam skipped lunch, or you can say Sam skipped on the way to school. You see how like adding the ped at the end, this part over here, adding that to the end of the root word skip can change the whole grammatical context of that word. So that's really important to keep in mind. For the next one, derivational morphology, we have the root word is hope, and we're not putting in past tense or present tense here, but we're changing the word itself, basically using the existing word and adding something new to it to give it a whole nother meaning, change the whole meaning. So the word hope and hopeful are two different things, right? So that's what we're doing here. The word care and careful can be two different things. You can say, for example, um, a mother gives care to her child. And then when you say careful, it's like Jim was being careful as he crossed the street. You see how like they're very different from each other? So we're modifying the word so that it can be basically fit a new kind of context, right? Changing the meaning of existing words, creating a new word by changing the meaning of the existing word. So we created a new word here, hopeful, and we changed the meaning of hope. We created a new word in careful by changing the meaning of the word care. That's what we did there. It's good job, everyone. So lastly, what we'll do is we are going to go over these words: humble, exempt, humor, notorious, and marvelous. And what I'd like for everyone to do is to write a sentence for each word. Okay? So write a sentence for humble, exempt, humor, notorious, and marvelous. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know anytime. You can type your question in the chat. You can say it anytime you need to. But let's take about 5-6 minutes total. And if you're stuck with anyone, that's okay. You can ask questions, or we can just do it together. But try your best. I'm sure you've seen quite a few of these words already in your life. So do your best and just write a sentence with each word. Okay, we'll take it up in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay. I see some good examples in the chat. All right. So let's see one example here. I was exempt from doing homework every weekend. This was by Jin. I was exempt from doing homework every weekend. Yes, that's good. That makes sense. Serena said, I was humble when someone was boasting how good they are. So that's also good. One thing I would suggest is to like keep in mind the past versus present tense. And boasting is spelled like let me show you here. Like this. How good they are, it's instead how good they were because it's past tense, right? So that's how we want to write it out. Okay. Donnie said he isn't a humble person since he always boasts at us when he gets a prize. Okay, so it seems like you all know the meaning of that word, so it's good. So he isn't a humble person since he always boasts at us when he gets a prize. You could say, yeah, um, he isn't a humble person since. So you can take out the at us because it's already kind of implied or it's already meant that like when someone is boasting, they're doing it to you or to somebody. Unless it's like somebody else, then that's a different story. But you don't need to mention at us in this kind of sentence because it's already implied that like the person is boasting at you when he gets the prize. So that's good. Serena, for humor, you said I used my humor that made everybody laugh. That's good. Let's take a look here. I use my humor. You can say to make everybody laugh. So I can replace that made with to make everybody laugh. Just keeping in mind the uh, past present tense thing here. Okay. So Brady, you gave two examples here. I'm going to put them both in. So his humor made me lose my oxygen. So made me lose my oxygen. His humor. Okay. Let's add a bit more to this one. Okay. Let's be like, his humor made me laugh so much that I lost my oxygen. Or you can say instead of oxygen, I lost my ability to breathe. There you go. His homework is known to be notorious. So here, the notorious means some like basically like popular, like it's something is known, something is special. So you can say the sentence in another way. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, Brady. So um, let's say he. Sorry, one sec. He is notorious for always doing his homework on time. Okay. Use homework. Use the word notorious as an adjective for a person. That's typically what notorious is used. So like he is notorious. So the person is notorious for always doing his homework on time. Like he's known in class. It's special. He's like a special student. He always finishes homework on time. So he's notorious for always doing his homework on time. Okay, I'll do two more. One by Serena about so they were exempted on paying the tax. Oops. So when you say the word exempted, you don't say on, it's instead from. Like you're exempted from paying the tax. Okay? They're exempted from paying the tax. Okay, now Donnie, you said the marvelous building was designed by him. That's good. That's a good example. Okay. Let's quickly just go over the definitions of these words. So the first one was humble, and humble means, as we know, to not brag or um, to not brag or promote oneself a lot. This is like how we can basically give the definition of humble, and we all here used it um, in the correct context and sentence. That's really good. To not brag or promote oneself a lot. It means to be modest, things like that. The other word was exempt. What does exempt mean? It means to um, not include something, to not be included. That's what exempt means. The other word was humor. So we all know that one. So humor is just about something that was funny. And just two more to go. Notorious and marvelous. So what is notorious? Someone who is known to have a particular attribute. And lastly, we have marvelous. Something that is extraordinary or special. All right, that's good. So did everyone have fun today? Okay, so next week we'll have more fun together as well. For your homework, what I would like for everyone to do is to review those hard words that we looked at today, right? And use those words in your daily kind of conversations. Try to understand the meaning of them again. Look at the sentences that you wrote. You all did a good job there. So take a look at that again. And then there's also a writing assignment that I'd like for all of you to do. Okay. So write a short response to the following statement. Life is a balance of holding on and letting go. That is the statement. And what I'd like for you to do is to post it on the forum by next Friday. And I'm sure all of you will do really good on this. But yeah, that's all for today. I hope you all have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.